Hey, what's up guys? Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Hope all is well. Today I'm going through a bunch of information, so be sure to pay close attention. And if you have not seen my previous two videos, please check them out when you do get a chance. So without further ado, I want to show this quick 30-second clip of Craig Phillips again talking about the key is the level playing field, guys. Remember, value agnostic, service agnostic, interoperability across the board, built for the best players to win, period. Again, Mickey B. Fresh has this awesome thread. I'm not going to go through it, per se, but if you guys are on Twitter, definitely follow Mr. Fresh Time if you've not already. Talking about Craig Phillips again, one of the board of directors of Ripple, and also a former advisor for Steve Mnuchin, goes incredibly deep. As we know, guys, I kind of confuse this a lot on the channel, so I do apologize, between advisors for Ripple and board of directors. Keep in mind, board of directors typically are, those with defined responsibilities. They're usually elected by the shareholders and governed by, actual bylaws. And an advisory board is a bit different. It's a lot more informal, typically experts, advisors. They're handpicked by the CEO or the management team. So keep in mind, regardless, it speaks volumes for whether advisors or board of directors for Ripple. And I'm sure you guys paid attention or, are well aware of some of the high caliber people within this group. So I just want to show you this quick 30-second clip regarding kind of this narrative at hand. And keep in mind, guys, the OCC is the Office of the Comptroller of Currency. This is Brian Brooks, formerly at Coinbase, Chief Legal Officer. Obviously, he's basically helped all national banks in the United States, and now they are able to actually holding digital assets. Okay, that is huge. And what's also interesting with him is even that other video that Real XRP Boy showed. He literally directly mentioned Chris Larsen, executive chairman of Ripple, and Ripple the company disrupting Swift as one of the main examples, and XRP's value proposition to, bring down, by 20 basis points, a 95% cost reduction. I think that means something big time. All right, so just listen to this quick clip and we'll keep going.
And finally, the key is the level playing field. Treasury believes that the level playing field is very, very important. So companies offering similar services should be subject to similar regulatory treatment for those services across level playing field. Treasury believes that the level playing field is very, very important. So companies offering similar services should be subject to similar regulatory treatment for those services across the economy, regardless of the form of the company.
All right, and pretty evident if you guys saw my previous video of that Forbes article when Ripple did get their office in DC, and of course the connections to the US Treasury. Again, there are a lot of coincidences, and my bet is that it's not all coincidental. All right, next up, so R3, guys, another behemoth I am always watching. We know their background with Ripple, we know their background with SPI, vested interests, shareholders, etc. You guys know the name of the game, and R3 has been recognized in the Bankers Innovation and Digital Banking Awards, winning the Joint Ventures category on the Spunta Banca DLT project. Remember, Spunta, based out of Italy, should be going live almost closer to 100% around October 1st. That is reconciliation. That is not, again, competition to XRP in any way. These are the big boys. This is trade finance. And also notice the groups that they're mentioning. ABI out of Italy. We have NTT Data Services, which we'll talk about in about 1 second. We got SIA. Remember, they work with R3, Ripple, even Overledger. The folks over at Quant, QNT. Another asset I watch. There's tons of FUD with that asset as well. And again, I'm simply paying attention to the space. All right, it's about interoperability, period. So again, the banking or the website talking about the award. So we know this famous document that Love for Crypto found in, I believe, September of 2017. We know the narratives, again, blockchain and distributed ledger technology, this type of roadmap. Was it truly a roadmap? Was it just an idea? Or is it the plan all along? Really makes you wonder. Some of the things that are kind of happening make me really wonder if this is actually occurring, because 2020, they're kind of showing the 2020 to 2025 roadmap, and then all the way to 2030 for actual trade finance market maturity. It gets pretty wild to even, entertain this. But again, NTT Data, anywhere, from at least the top 10, I'm going to say probably one of the 6th largest IT firms in the world. Okay, so we have, again, Ripple right here, cross-border payments, just talking about cost-efficient international payments, low-value payments, guys, on, RippleNet. Keep in mind, former CEO of the DTCC joined as chairman of RippleNet, Don Donahue. Again, words mean things. Capital markets, again, reconciliation to speed up post-trade services makes me think of, just reconciliation. Every time I see that, clearing, anything like that, Spunta, Project Spunta. We see trade finance. So we see Chain, Chainlink, Hyperledger, Digital Asset, and R3 Corda, which can settle via XRP. Now we go to the next slide. We can see 2020 to 2025. We see Bank of Japan. We see, SEPA, ACH with Nacha. We can see, FPS in the UK, which is already integrated with Volpay, which is also integrated with Ripple. We see all these banks running on Ripple. Again, we have even China right here. HVPS is high value payment system. All right. And then we have Interledger Protocol, bridging these protocols, bridging these ledgers, and boom, XRP Ledger at the center of it for the global real-time gross settlement engine. Right. We have the correspondent banking network with the central banks and liquidity providers all right in front of you. Super, super interesting. Now, what I'm more excited for is this. Now we can see Interledger enabling interoperability across the platforms themselves. So we have capital markets, okay? We have trade finance. Remember SAP? I talked a bunch about them in the previous video if you've not seen that already. Again, going incredibly deep with even, the Ariba network, okay? Goldman Sachs, Google, you name it, okay? Payment platforms, you can talk about, Alipay. We could talk about the marketplaces. And again, we have Alibaba right there. Even other platforms, Facebook. I don't see, Libra per se, but again, this is an older document from 2017. Okay. And then of course, R3 Corda at the very top as well. So just wanted to share that. And then I know I share this a lot in a lot of videos, but I just want to talk about this briefly before going to some next points. So again, on the same document by Everest, Interledger Protocol. Remember, the Interledger stack is here, and the actual Interledger Protocol version for today is actually this layer. Now, underneath, the actual kind of like the network, it's a part of the network layer, I should say, is value. This is where the tokens will transact. So we have Corda, Ripple, we have Hyperledger, Ethereum, Visa, MasterCard. We're going to talk about Visa and MasterCard as well, because they've also released comments for the OCC. All right, let's speed through the next point. So XRP Crypto Wolf sharing, again, additional job openings, always, acquisitions, growth with Ripple, the company. So suggesting it's expanding its global reach and use of XRP, of course. So I've already kind of gone through the article just to speed through this, guys. This successful candidate will work as the new head of Ripple Spring Development. So there's other job listings, pretty much a hint, guys, a sign at a coming push to expand the adoption of XRP in Asia. Think of, initiatives and obviously SBI, Ripple Asia spearheading that as well. So right here in this role, they're establishing strong relationships, developers around the world, really just incentivizing people to build on the XRP ledger and build the internet of value, period. Okay, again, money flows like data today. You guys get the gist. And just talking about SBI Ripple Asia. So that is the joint venture between Ripple and also SBI Holdings, another behemoth. Again, SBI, absolutely massive, a big shareholder of R3. Now, again, recent news that was just basically released right after this. So basically hiring a quantitative developer for institutional markets, building tools to monitor markets, liquidity for XRP as they scale their payments product in new markets around the world, guys. XRP is going to be a fundamental role in this market and of course for Ripple's success. I do not believe that Ripple is going to use another asset that would defeat 8 years of building liquidity, building, on-ramps, working with regulators. All of their direct customers are regulated, hence making them regulated as well. And we'll go through the commentary that they released for the OCC as well. All right. Next, in other news, guys, we're seeing more and more banks custody digital assets, or at least get into the space to actually custody and hold them or potentially sell them at a premium, or even just invest in, upon them with their hedge funds. So we can see out of Korea, one of the largest banks out of South Korea has partnered with Blockchain Venture Fund, Hashed, and again, so keep an eye on this bank, KB Kookmin Bank. So again, we're working together, working on obviously strategic technology cooperation on the custody of digital assets. So be sure to, keep an eye on this. I don't really need to go in depth and detail about this, guys. You can, you all have the ability to, follow basic websites like Today, Cointelegraph.com, the Block Crypto. I'm not going to waste your time with that, but hopefully you enjoy seeing more banks custody digital assets, just like Brad Garlinghouse said, a year or 2 years ago. Okay, so Coining203, thank you for sharing a few of these screenshots in the link. So more regarding the OCC and the announcement made last month. So look at the entities that have commented on the OCC, some big fish in the space, and I definitely agree, guys, this is all about digital assets. So I'm going to kind of go through a few of these. So for example, right here, we have Ripple's commentary. We have, MasterCard, as we've talked about. Even Visa. We have, look, Stellar. You got Accenture. I mean, you guys are well aware of Accenture. I don't need to repeat what they are every single video. Grayscale Investments holding roughly 1% of the entire Bitcoin supply. We got Google, again, with Ariba Network now. That's what I'm going to start saying, even though they've been partners with SAP since 2017. Just pay attention to this, guys. All right. Exciting things for sure. Now, just right on the website, so it's beta.regulations.gov, we can see National Bank and Federal Savings Association digital activity. So just to speed through some people that have left comments, just tell me the names that you recognize just by speeding through this, guys. We have Consensus. We have, let's see, Visa, as I've said, BitGo, Stripe, TransferWise, okay, PNC, one of kind of the first RippleNet customers, guys, big bank out of the United States. And we can just kind of keep going. We got MasterCard International, Blockchains LLC, Money Service Business Association, Coinbase, Cross River. I know you guys are familiar with them. Let's see, keep going here. I'm not going to go through all of it, so don't worry. But just to show you, I mean, just right off the bat, we've already seen Accenture, Grayscale, Ripple Labs. We have Digital Dollar Foundation, again, former CFTC chairman, Christopher Giancarlo, in tandem with Accenture. We have one of my favorite tokens, Algo or Algorand. Definitely check them out, guys. I think they're going to be very, very close with groups like Circle and Jeremy Allaire in their, USDC. Pay attention. And one of my favorites, R3. Got Accenture, as I've already said. I know you guys have seen Novi. Again, guys, you can kind of, see it for yourselves. All right. Let me see what else I'm missing. Upstart. All right. Now, this commentary is shared by James Rule XRP. So thank you, sir. And he also does have a YouTube channel if you guys want to go check that out and support him as well. So what I basically wanted to share in this in particular is right. Let me see where it's at. So right here. So Ripple was recently featured as the only blockchain company in the list of the top 100 cross-border payment providers. Boom. And again, this is to the OCC. Keep in mind, Brian Brooks had a direct mention for them as well. If you guys want to read this, you guys can go find it. Or, if the screen isn't blurry, feel free to read it for yourselves. Typical letter, typical professional commentary. They're only saying, 300 customers today. We all know that it's significantly more than that. And of course, when you talk about indirect connections, it goes much, much deeper. Just wanted to talk about that. And lastly, just to call it a day. So James Rule XRP also sharing this. So link to, and I know many people are talking about this, many YouTube channels, and I'm really excited for this type of application to actually give power to the people for us to invest. All about finding those unicorn investments. So the definition of a unicorn, guys, is kind of a term by, VCs, venture capitalists, and it describes a private company or a startup with a valuation of over $1 billion. Okay, well, that would be, great examples such as Ripple. Again, we're talking about a $10 billion valuation, one of the highest valued companies to come out of Silicon to date. Okay, so right here, Link2 has partnered with the exchange Uphold. If you guys have an account there, definitely recommend checking them out to bring you the Uphold wallet on the Link2 platform. You can now purchase equity in unicorns using any of 27 fiat or 30 cryptocurrencies. Yes, they have, assets like XRP. They even have, silver, you name it. Okay. So pretty exciting. Again, guys, you can find that at link2.com. That is LINQTO.com. So really exciting, guys, especially when you're considering asset fractionalization. You can see right here, Link2, private investing made simple. You guys can definitely look at potentially getting shares for Coinbase or Ripple pre-IPO. Obviously, the valuations are going higher. This is also, this also includes Uphold as well. So definitely something to consider. So you guys have to kind of weigh it. Do you want to diversify to kind of hedge the risk? Or do you think that crypto assets are going to have much more upside than these, stocks? Currently, you have to consider the ecosystem. We know that these companies will explode, most likely, but the stock market today is, nearing or already at all-time high. So, diversifying is always smart. But for me, I do see just a lot more upside in the crypto asset space in particular right now, after it's being suppressed, just like the metals market for, several years. And I could be totally wrong and really miss the boat on some of these assets. I believe I think you can invest with like a 10K minimum. I have looked into it. I think, Ripple's share? I'm not sure if it's like $28 or $30 per share. I think some people got in really, really early. But for now, my biased opinion, because it is completely biased, I would much rather just hold XRP for now. And then maybe potential profits in the future go within them. But when XRP appreciates, so is Ripple stock. So maybe I'll miss the boat, but I'm willing to do so. I feel like I'm already pretty well hedged this market, and I've been waiting long enough. So I'm just going to sit on my hands and wait. because obviously when you're getting impatient, that's when you mess up and make emotional decisions. And I feel like I've already done a lot of those as an investor, and I'm sure you guys can relate to that. So, all right, we'll call it a day. Again, guys, just to summarize, talking about Craig Phillips, talking about R3 with their connections. Obviously, we are getting closer, ever closer to Spunta going live. All about reconciliation. Again, not competition to XRP. Please understand that I get a bunch of emails or FUD comments all the time. Also, just remember, guys, this document by NTT Data, Blockchain Technology Adoption, this was released in September of 2017. Just love referencing this. Now, whenever I reference it, it does not mean that this is going to be an exact roadmap that is guaranteed. Things are changing all the time. But is it really interesting and does it excite me very much? Yes, absolutely. Specifically, even right here with Tencent, looking at these groups growing, Facebook, the BRICS nation straying away from the US dollar. There's just so much happening. I'm grateful for researchers. I'm grateful for content creators. My head is spinning all the time. And I think that, we are in one of the best asset classes to be in. And we are going to be living through history. A new paradigm is coming. This is going to be a massive transfer of wealth. So Ripple on the company side is growing. We have Spring developing markets as well. We have the new news with Flare. Potentially, the Spark token type of deal could potentially even compete with the likes of Ethereum and Link. And I'm not going to say it's an Ethereum killer or a Link killer, but I like this type of competition. And I like competition that even challenges XRP to step things up too. All right. So again, guys, I am just simply excited for this market. I own a variety of assets, but I love talking about XRP the most because it's most exciting. It has obviously the longest history, one of the most immediate use cases. And just from a fundamental perspective, I do not think that any other asset beats it. Now, there are some that maybe wear Bitcoin goggles and that's all there is. And, I respect it. I've been there. But to me, it's just, there's going to be a variety of assets that win. And I just think that XRP, worst case scenario, is going to service many of the illiquid corridors, just like Navin Gupta said, a significant portion of the $155 trillion cross-border market. And that's worst case. And you guys have to understand, we are sitting at 20 cents, 30 cent XRP. That is a drop in the bucket. If you guys just play with the order books, look at the existing liquidity depth of order books, and you understand why I'm not going to give a price prediction, but just know XRP across the board is undervalued. And when utility truly ramps up, I know we're looking at maybe $5 billion in payment flows via XRP per year right now. That's awesome. But do you know 5 billion compared to 155 trillion? Go play with that and just imagine getting, 10% market share. Yeah, it's a really, really big number. And that's just not me saying that. That is, some of the first 10 employees saying that, like Bob Way. Okay. And now when you consider the derivatives market, which is even much bigger, and we're working on smart contract application now, whether you think Codius is dead or you think that Flare network is going to be the thing that really ramps it up, guys, there's just so many protocols. There's so many layers being built on top of this entire stack. We have PayID. We have just some great minds working with this ecosystem. I am beyond excited. So period, guys. I think connections to, DC and the OCC and Coinbase, Coinbase and Ripple can compete for your market share, but they still invest in some of the same groups like Securitize. So I think there's going to be tons of groups that survive. We're going a lot more digital, less and less cash on hand, autonomous. People are going to have power over their money. Hopefully we'll maintain our privacy along the way. That's one thing I do personally fear is, obviously succumbing to further control. But again, guys, I am an investor in this market and we will, simply see. So let me know if you like this video. Let me know your personal thoughts down below with expectations of the future, and I will see you in the next one.